WREG in Memphis. This is News Channel 3 at 5.
Breaking news first at 5 tonight. Mayor Jim Strickland has just rolled out his proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. The one thing everyone wants to know, is there a property tax increase? And the answer is that depends on your reappraisal this year. But we can tell you the city is not asking for an increase in the tax rate. However, the mayor is proposing an increase in the stormwater fee. That'll be an extra $5 per month per household.
The budget's increasing by about $6 million. We're down hundreds of police officers. We have to really push recruiting and retention of police officers. We need more overtime to police high crime areas. That was absolutely a must. And then also we had to do more in our community centers and libraries for young people.
The mayor wants a pay increase for police officers, but not all city employees, and that's already causing quite a stir. There's a lot to unpack from this budget, and we're working hard to bring you new information tonight on the news at 6. New at 5, innocent dogs tortured. Just look at that face. It's hard to imagine anyone would burn that dog. The injuries so graphic we've had to blur them because they're just too much to stomach. Tonight, the search is on for someone who would do something so horrific. Thanks for joining us. I'm Richard Ransom. Stephanie is on assignment. A rescue group is taking care of those 2 burned dogs, both originally taken to the Memphis Animal Shelter. WREG's Luke Jones is investigating what caused these gruesome injuries. He's live in Bartlett where the dogs are being treated. Luke, what's the latest?
Well, as we speak now, Richard, those dogs are still inside the Wolf Chase Animal Hospital recovering from their injuries. Because they were each found about 20 miles apart from each other, they really can't say at this point these cases are connected. But if not, they can say it's one tragic and one sick coincidence.
Hi, Butternut.
You wouldn't know it from her boundless energy.
She's way too excited.
But Lacey the dog is lucky to still be alive.
You're bleeding. It's okay.
Bandages conceal the burns on her back, but not on her head. Pictures so graphic we've had to blur them, show the full extent of her injuries days after she was discovered in South Memphis.
There's a distinct pour pattern on this. You can see that somebody did this to her.
Andrea Adams with Big Fluffy Dog Rescue believes the burns came from chemicals, and it looks like the very same thing happened to Cagney.
Hey, baby.
Picked up last week in Raleigh. She still limps after someone poured chemicals all over her legs and genitals.
Pretty much every place that you use to sit, she has very deep thermal type burns.
Dr. Jessica Surratt with Wolf Chase Animal Hospital has been tending to both dogs since Saturday. She says a full recovery could take weeks, maybe even months.
It's very painful for her just to do normal activities.
Come here.
All right,
Come here.
As they continue to heal, Adams is urging anyone with information about their abusers to come forward.
Someone saw something. Someone knows something about this dog and about who burned her, and we need to find that out.
And Adams says this isn't the first time she's had to care for a burned dog. She says last year she saw 2 more dogs with these types of burns, and every year she says she just keeps running into more and more of them. Now these dogs eventually are going to go up for adoption, but again, no guarantee for when that will happen. For now, reporting live in Bartlett, Luke Jones, WREG News Channel 3.
All right, such a sad story. Thank you, Luke. A breaking news update now at 5. Today, Memphis police releasing surveillance video of a robbery in Binghamton where a worker was shot. We first told you about this as breaking news last night at 10. 2 men with guns forcing a worker inside the Family Dollar at Summer and Tillman. They took money and then shot the victim in the leg. There was another Family Dollar holdup around the same time in Raleigh. That one happened about a half hour later at Stage and Coleman. Nobody was hurt in that robbery. Anyone with information about either incident should call Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH. Those aren't the only businesses hit by thieves. Tonight, police are searching for the man who crashed into 3 cell phone businesses overnight. They happened within 2 hours of each other. The thief crashed into an AT&T store at Hacks Cross in Winchester, a T-Mobile store at Perkins and American Way, and another AT&T store at Union and Edgewood in Midtown. A construction crew was called early this morning to clean up all the messes.
It was horrible. It was destroyed real bad. Glass everywhere. The gates, it just tore down. They tore the bricks up. It's just like, it looked like it's about to cave in now, so we're trying to get to it so it won't cave in and fall down.
Police say the thief was driving a dark red sedan, maybe a Chrysler 200, in at least 2 of those burglaries. As you can imagine, that car likely has a lot of damage too. And then around 11 in the morning, someone held up a Boost mobile store. This happened at the shopping center on Fraser Boulevard in Overton Crossing. Police have not released any other information about the heist or said if it might be connected to the other burglaries overnight. Well, we had another day of just wonderful weather in the Mid-South, but there's a big change on the way, and it's coming in less than 24 hours. It also means those blue skies you just saw are going to be leaving us. Weather expert Jim Jaggers is tracking all of this from the Severe Weather Center. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Richard. Yeah, we've got clear radar right now, but it's not going to stay that way. We're looking at the big picture, and as we do, we see a nice strong cold front moving out of the Plain States, already developing some rain here in southwestern Kansas, the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma. That's what's headed our way in a little over 24 hours from now. That gives us a enhanced risk of severe weather here in Arkansas, according to the guide down there, the legend. And then the yellow area would be a slight risk of severe weather. Now that could be some high winds, some hail, some flash flooding, and even some tornadoes during the day tomorrow, but it'll be late in the day tomorrow. For tonight, temperatures drop from the 80-degree mark down to the low 70s as we continue to enjoy this spring weather, but it turns really springy and really possibly severe in the forecast that's coming up. Richard?
All right, check back with you later. Thank you, Jim. New at 5, a father's dying wish makes for an incredibly heartfelt moment for 4 high school students. WREG's Stacey Jacobson spoke to those who took part in the special ceremony in Osceola, Arkansas.
Everyone calls Scotty Webb a gentle giant, a volunteer firefighter, boxing coach, and most importantly, dad.
I got a lot of stuff from him. Learned a lot from him.
His kids kept him going these last 5 years, fighting cancer after a 2012 diagnosis.
It was very hard to watch him go through it.
That's Chance Webb, one of Scotty's 3 biological sons. But really, in this Osceola High School classroom, he's surrounded by 3 young men he also calls his brothers.
He was always there in my corner. He trained us, made me the person I am.
I knew he loved me. He told me he loved me. He even called me son.
It was basically like another set of parents. He was another father figure.
His cancer got worse this year, and a couple weeks ago he went into the hospital. Doctors said he'd never leave, but he had one dying wish.
He had always told me and my 2 brothers that his one goal in life was to raise 3 men and have them all 3 graduate.
When he was admitted into the hospital on Monday, he made the comment, "Well, I almost made it." And at that point, I knew we had to move heaven and earth to make it happen.
So teacher Cindy Henderson and others went to work, planning a graduation ceremony at the hospital for Chance and his brothers. Logistics didn't matter. Love was all they needed to make it work. And the community came out in force.
At least 50 to 75 in that very small area.
All 3 of them made a speech, and it was very hard to listen to.
I would just tell him basically how much I appreciate him for being in my life and helping me with my dreams.
We just spoke from our heart and told him how much he meant to us and how much of a father figure he was.
Just walking out there and seeing him, I wanted to start crying.
Even the superintendent came to make it official.
I would like to present 2017 Osceola High School graduates.
And it was everything they could have imagined because Scotty Webb died just 2 days later. But they know he was at peace. In Osceola, Stacey Jacobson, WREG News Channel 3.
Very good. Well, for the record, all 4 kids are going to graduate officially in May, but they say the graduation that counts the most has already taken place. Tonight, the family of kidnapping victim Elizabeth Thomas is thanking everyone for their prayers and support while she was gone. A statement from the family attorney says, quote, "The family owes each group, law enforcement, the media, and the public a debt of gratitude that cannot be repaid." It continues, "It's time to focus only on Elizabeth and her recovery, which could take an extended period of time." The 15-year-old was kidnapped by her teacher, Tad Cummins, last month. They were discovered last week in rural Northern California, 6 weeks after she disappeared. Cummins will be extradited to Tennessee to face federal charges. The Thomas family also asked people to pray for the Cummins family. We also learned a man who helped police catch Cummins and recover Thomas will receive a $10,000 reward. Here you see him. Even though Griffin Berry is originally from Nashville, he met the couple totally by chance in Northern California, then alerted police about them. Some of the Memphis area's best and brightest students were celebrated at the annual Knowledge Bowl luncheon today. This is, believe it or not, the 30th year for the trivia game show, which is recorded and aired here on WREG. Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland was the keynote speaker and had this to say to the future collegians.
But also, I wanted to challenge them on a couple ways. Number one, to serve others, give back to this Memphis community because they've been given so much. And number two, when they get out of college, come back to Memphis because Memphis needs them. They can make a big difference in Memphis. We want the best and brightest of the Memphis area to stay here.
So over the 30-year run of Knowledge Bowl, WREG and its sponsors have given competitors more than $4 million in scholarships. This year, Lausanne Collegiate School and MUS were the finalists, but that episode won't air until May 20th. New at 5, bystanders rushed to save a man from a quickly sinking car. Plus, a robbery in Germantown's busiest shopping area, how police say the victim was tricked. That's next on the News at 5.
Your number 1 5 p.m. newscast, WREG News Channel 3.
Tonight, Germantown police say they are close to making a second arrest in an armed robbery case. They already captured Kelvin Johnson for the holdup last week. Police say a man met Johnson last week to sell a $6,000 ring, but investigators say Johnson had an accomplice waiting at the shops of Saddle Creek, a man with a gun. The victim was robbed, but helped lead police to Johnson, who was captured a short time later. Shoppers we spoke to were surprised about it.
I would not have thought that could happen there. And security's usually pretty tight, too. It's pretty quiet over here, and I've never had any problems with feeling unsafe or anything like that.
Police have not released a description of the second suspect. New at 5, the heads of the Congressional Committee investigating Russian involvement in the U.S. presidential election say President Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, may have broken the law. Republican Chairman Jason Chaffetz and ranking Democrat Elijah Cummings issued the joint announcement after reviewing Flynn's application for security clearance. They say Flynn conveniently left out information about payments he received from Russia.
As a former military officer, you simply cannot take money from Russia, Turkey, or anybody else. And it appears as if he did take that money. It was inappropriate, and there are repercussions for the violation of law.
Flynn's attorney said his client did brief the Defense Intelligence Agency about his paid speaking trip and that he did nothing illegal. The White House would not say if it agrees or disagrees that Flynn broke the law. Caught on camera, a high-speed chase in the Los Angeles area. Officers started chasing a stolen car around 6 this morning. The driver tried to get away for about a half hour until police blocked him in a cove. Then they opened fire when they say the man tried to hit them. The driver was killed and a passenger was arrested. And in Central Florida, deputies saved the life of a man they were chasing. The van he was driving flipped and hit a tree and caught fire. So deputies broke a window to pull him from that burning vehicle. They say the suspect is a convicted felon and had several loaded guns with him. Happening now, people across North Carolina are dealing with flooding following days of heavy rains. Many areas have received 5 to 7 inches of rain recently, flooding roads and homes. There's a flood warning for the Raleigh area until almost midnight tonight, and the waters are receding, but very slowly. There's amazing video tonight of bystanders working to save a man from a sinking car. Connor Del Prete has that story from South Carolina, and it was caught on camera.
A long line of people pull a car out of a lake off Highway 9 in South Carolina.
When I started seeing everybody, I knew I had help.
But moments before his wife recorded this video, Terry Sayer had no help.
If it wouldn't have been for me, that man probably wouldn't even have a chance, because nobody would have seen him.
Sayer spotted the car sinking quickly. He immediately pulled over and jumped into the water.
Before I could get up good to the bank, he was already taking stuff, out of his pocket, going in.
Because any hesitation could have cost the driver his life.
I knowed he was dying then when he grabbed a hold of me, because the water had done gone over his head. And I was hollering, I looked at Julie and I said, help, help, somebody help me, this man's dying.
Terry's wife, Julie, heard the fear in his voice and desperately flagged drivers down from the highway. After 30 minutes of pulling the car up the riverbank, there was enough room to get inside. The group pried the door open and picked up the unconscious driver.
And I pulled him out by his legs, and somebody grabbed him around his neck. And we got him to the bank, and then they started CPR on him, and he started breathing.
Cheers of relief as the man shows signs of life. Terry says that Saturday afternoon will forever be ingrained in his mind, and he wants to convince others to extend that same helping hand.
When someone is in a trouble like that, please don't hesitate to help.
Wow, well, hopefully we won't have that much water when the rain comes and the storms start tomorrow night. Right now, we're looking pretty clear and dry across the Mid-South using radar, and the satellite looking very clear as well. Temperatures very warm, 80 degrees in Memphis International, 80 in Blytheville, 79 in Union City, Corinth, 81 in Oxford, 79 in West Memphis and down in Tunica. The storm system is still out to our west, but look at these wind arrows coming up from the south, the Gulf of Mexico, bringing all that warm, moist, and unstable air directly into the Mid-South. moving off to the north. In our forecast, we do expect warm and windy conditions tonight. It'll be warm and hot tomorrow, again up to around 80 degrees. Thunderstorms late in the day and tomorrow night, clearing skies and cooler temperatures on Thursday, but that may be a little bit later on Thursday. Let's take from now until 10 o'clock. The temperatures dropping off to 68 degrees here in Memphis, 66 in Blytheville, 65 in Dyersburg, 73 down in Oxford. We see a little bit of cloud cover down here in Little Rock. We see more cloud cover around 6:30 in the morning when we hit our low for the day, around 64, 65 degrees here in Memphis. We see shower activity here in north central Arkansas. 63 in Dyersburg, 67 in Oxford will be the low temperature. By noon, we still see cloudy skies. The rain stays off to the west associated with that cold front that starts to move into the area around 6:30 tomorrow evening. Coincidentally, when we hit our high temperature of the day, around 77 degrees, maybe closer to 80 degrees, 77 in Forest City, 81 in Clarksdale, and around 6:30 is when we start seeing rain move into the News Channel 3 viewing area. Gets close to Shelby County around 8:30 tomorrow evening. There's the Mississippi River. There's the thunderstorms. There's the cold front moving on through by 11 o'clock tomorrow evening. A lot of that heavy thunderstorm activity and the cold front will be through the Memphis metropolitan area in Shelby County and clearing completely out of the News Channel 3 viewing area by 6 a.m. on Thursday morning. Temperatures a lot cooler, down into the 50s. How much rain are we going to get? Well, we could get quite a bit, up to an inch here in Memphis, an inch and a half in Covington, over an inch and a half in Jonesboro, about a half an inch in Oxford and in Tupelo and in Corinth. So our 7-day outlook starts off with a partly sunny morning tomorrow morning, but thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening tomorrow. It'll be windy, wet, and warm tomorrow with a high of 80 degrees. We've got a 60% chance of thunderstorms, but that's on Thursday morning. AM thunderstorms, then clearing skies and cooler temperatures, a high temperature of 72. Friday, we have partly sunny skies again, windy and warmer, and late storms on Friday with a high of 84 degrees. More thunderstorms on Saturday, more thunderstorms on Sunday, lingering into the morning hours on Monday. Sunny skies on Tuesday, but highs will be cooling back down to the 70s and lows to the 50s. The 10-day outlook, thunderstorms again on Wednesday. Partly cloudy on Thursday. Small chance of scattered thunderstorms coming our way on Friday with mainly rain showers a week from Friday. But we're looking at a stormy day tomorrow, and you need to stay tuned to News Channel 3 and be prepared for that bad weather.
All right, we will be. Thanks to you and thanks to the WREG app. We have a little bit of information on that too, with that possibly severe weather moving in tomorrow and storms possible for the next several days. In fact, you're going to want to stick with WREG. We're going to have updated forecasts and new models in each newscast here on News Channel 3 starting tonight at 10 and tomorrow on daybreak. Now would also be a good time to download the WREG weather app on your smartphone so you'll have the latest information no matter where you are. We'll be right back.